everyone, from the top of Ireland, in the land of Connell, Saoirse here, and the video is on the BEAVER persona and stress, how to deal with stress in the workplace, and the BEAVER persona, and how the BEAVER persona will show stress and how you can help them overcome stress or de-stress their life. And so that's real important. So we'll get right into it. So what's the one thing that leaders can do to change the world? If you watch the one for the horse persona, this may be a review, but if not, this is good information. So what's the one thing that leaders can do to change the world? Change the way your people are managed, according to John Clifton, the CEO of Gallup International. Now, how do you do that? It's how you connect with your employees and with your clients. So you do that with the connect system. You go through their filter to meet their need, and then you have a connection. So, and in this case, how to deal with stress and diffuse the stress. So stress in the workplace is a major deal. According to Gallup's State of the Global Workplace 2023 report, Global Workplace Stress, that even though engagement is up by 20 to the record high of 23%, 6 out of 10 employees, that's 60% of people, are quiet quitting still. This is 2023. So right now, 2023 is halfway over. And we're still having quiet quitting issues, which is costing the world $8.8 trillion annually. So 9% of global GDP. So workplace stress, employee stress levels are at a record high of 44%. Over half of current employees are actually seeking their employment. So they're ready to quiet quit if they haven't done it already. And employee engagement, they want connection. That's the most important thing. It's more important than location or any other factor as connection and stress in the workplace. Now, of all the people that in the workplace, 9 out of 10 workers say that they're stressed at work, that there's chronic stress at work. Basically 94%, 1 out of 10. And chronic stress at work affects women 53% of the time and men 47%. It affects their everyday life. They take it home with them, or it affects their ability to work in the workplace. And women are affected more than men. But out of everyone that has workplace stress, 99% of them say that it affects their mental health. Only 1%. And you wonder about that 1%, right? That doesn't affect their mental health, right? Maybe they don't have insight. So 1/10 of all workers are overworked in America. These are workplace statistics based on CFAH, Stress in the Workplace Statistics, 2023 report update. It's a 5th major cause of death in America, with 120,000 people per year having workplace stress, chronic workplace stress, as a cause of physical issues and death in their life. Now, workplace-related stress costs $3.7 trillion in America and USA, according to these statistics. And now, if you're able to decrease stress in the workplace, if you can decrease stress, then you will increase sales by about an average of 37%, an average of productivity, 31% will increase. So you have better productivity by 31%, and task accuracy on a daily basis of 19% improvement. And just the task accuracy alone can save tons of money in the workplace in your business. And we looked at those statistics for people that, for businesses that have 100 employees, it's amazing the cost of task accuracy in the workplace. So just look at that. Workplace stress in America, only 5% of American workers report no stress. And so, yeah, and we're not talking about chronic stress, but of those that are stressed, the 95% that are stressed, they say 6% is unsustainable. That means that it affects their life to the point that they may not come back to work the next day for one reason or another. And chronic workplace stress, 23% say it's too high. So it's high. Average is 41%. And some people say that they can deal with stress maybe better in their life. But I would say that really you should combine the low and the moderate to one statistic and the high. to another, keep it separate, and then the 6% would show that, because that's what we see. So these are all based on crash and burnout, workplace stress, the new normal, which it really is. And it shouldn't be. You should be able to bring it down, because if you can bring down workplace stress, and generally the number one workplace stress is no connection with the employees, or the negative connection, or you have really bad middle management. So if you have a middle manager who isn't trained to deal with it, that middle manager has a tendency to increase stress. So in the workplace. So a lot of people report that they'll quiet quitting, because of one in particular, one bad manager. And, most middle managers are not trained to deal with people. Their answer to dealing with clients or customers is to get rid of the negative customer or client. And if it's a bad employee, then they won't deal with or train the employee, but they'll get rid of them. And, that's really sad, because some of our best trainers that we dealt with in the big businesses, international trainers, were the people that were considered problem employees. But we found out that it really wasn't an issue of trying to be a problem. They were actually trying to understand the situation and to become better employees. But if middle management sees that person as a bad employee, then they'll give them a bad review or let them go, or reassign them, just not to deal with them and all that. And that other person, that employee, was not trying to be a bad employee. They were actually trying to be a better employee, but the manager didn't see it that way, because they weren't connecting. They weren't going through the filter to meet the need of that employee. So better trained managers will have better employees under them, working for them, and workplace stress will decrease. So what happens if you have happy employees? Well, you have happy customers. And what happens when you have happy employees and happy customers? You have better income, better sales, better customers. You have your ideal loyal customers. You can create a tribe. So anyway, that's it. So now, how do you connect with people using the Connect system and decrease the stress? How do you do that? Well, we'll just review this real quick. Some people are actors, some people are feelers, and some people are thinkers. So the actors are going to act first and then think or feel. So they're going to act and then they'll think about it. Like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should have done it this way, or whatever. So we're dealing with the actors today. Now in the Connect system, there's 7. So each of those categories has different personas underneath them. I use the animal personas because it's more fun. Why not? So we're going to have more fun with it. So today we're going to talk about the beaver persona, was an actor. So now, how do you connect? Everyone has all 7 personas, and they prefer some over others. None is better than the other, but each one has a filter and a need, a hidden question and a hidden need. So when you deal with stress, everyone can handle different levels of stress in different amounts. And each persona indicates stress in predictable ways. And how they deal with stress is predictable. So when you see that, if you see a sudden distress flare go up, or you see that they're in a distress level, there's 3 different distress levels. Or if you identify their chronic distress pattern, you can connect with that person by going through the filter, meet their need, and decrease stress and help them come out of that stress. So de-escalate the situation and de-stress. So that's important, because especially in the workplace today. So like I said, actors, these are people that are going to kinetic motivation, act first and then think or feel or think. So the beaver persona today, the beaver persona are natural maintainers. They're action oriented and they love to finish things. So one of the number one stressors for a beaver persona is not being able to finish, because they love to finish. So if their to-do list doesn't get finished for that day, and that keeps happening over time, then they're going to be stressed out. So their hidden question is, are you doing your shower? Are you doing your bed? And then what they need, the hidden need, is action and appreciation. So they want you to do your share, and they want appreciation for what they have done in their to-do list. Like that makes a difference. So now, how do they show stress? Well, their distress flares are mag. They feel martyred, they will attack, and then they'll complain about it, they'll grumble. So martyred, attack, and complain or grumble. So how do they feel martyred? Well, it's like this, they'll yell, they'll come out and say, like, I'm the only one that does this. Why doesn't anyone else ever do this? And then like, well, I guess that's my lot in life, is just to do this. And for the company wouldn't be a company if it wasn't for me doing this. That's how they see things. They're real practical minded, but when they get under stress, they'll just flare out like that. And so like, suppose that you have a major project going on in your business, and it's a kind of a long-term business, and things keep happening to delay the project. So your timelines keep getting shifted on your project management. And so what happens then? These beaver persona people will flare up, because what if what they did has to be undone because of logistics, and then they have to read it again, or they have to do it a different way because something changed or something wasn't supplied right. So they're gonna feel martyred about that, like, oh, like I'm always doing this and everything I do just gets undone. Why do I even bother? Why do I even bother with it? And they'll attack. Now, management has no understanding of the things that we're doing down here in engineering or wherever they're at. Like, what, our was engineering or custodial or housekeeping or whatever it is. So those are the things that they look for there. And so they'll attack out, like nobody understands. And then they'll complain. I'm the only one that does it. Nobody cares. Nobody understands, and they just go about it. But, their effectiveness and the speed that they get things done decreases. And so, because they're under that stress. But the good thing is that the distress flares are just a flare. They just flare, and then it comes back down to the regular normality of it, because these are just the distress flares. They're sudden, they'll lash out, they'll probably come back and say, oh, sorry about it. I did that in the meeting, I shouldn't have said that, and like and they go back to normal. So this is distress flares. But the distress levels, they continue on. So they get level 1, 2, and 3. And if they're at level 3, you will have a very unhappy employee. Or if it's a client, there'll be a very unhappy client there. And then the last thing is the chronic distress patterns. This is a permanent kind of thing. It's a long-term thing. It can last for years. And if they're in that pattern, you want to help them to realize that that's where they're at and to come out of it. So that's it. But again, if you see that somebody's complaining, they feel like they're the only one that's doing something, they attack out, like, why don't you ever help me with this? Do I have to ask every time when I need help? And then they'll complain like, well, nobody knows all the trouble that I'm dealing with and everything. So that'll be the distress flares for the beaver persona. So if you realize that, you can go through the filter and meet the need, or you can answer the hidden question to meet the hidden need. Then you connect. If you show that connected, you can de-escalate the situation and put out the flare. So that's all there is to it. And it really is helpful when you have clients or customers that you can deal with. But if it's an employee, like say somebody has you see someone in the workplace, a lot of times it's going to be your operations people, your engineers, or your practical people, your custodians, anyway, and those kind of situations. But it can also be in sales, like say somebody that usually does the stuff for the department. Let's say it's a sales department, and they do all of the work. So these beaver people are going to see the practical thing, and they'll get it done, and everybody else can sit back and relax, because well, so and so will get it done. Well, it comes to a point where so-and-so gets tired of doing it all. And when that happens, the distress flare will come up. If you recognize that, you can go through the filter and meet that need and help them to diffuse the situation. So anyway, that's how it's done there. So I want to talk about the resources now. If you want to know more about it, you can direct message me or email me at info@freedomsaoirse.com or fill out the form at Freedom Saoirse International or freedomsaoirse.com. Or you can just go to Facebook and direct message me or put a comment here in the comments below. If you go to freedomsaoirse.com or freedomsaoirse.ie or freedomsaoirse.eu, go down to the bottom of the page and fill out the form. You can have access to all the resources, the free resources that are available on there. And just so that you know, like just the workbooks alone, that information in these videos of the workbooks alone are worth over $8,000 retail for corporations and trainers and people come through. They pay that much to get this information that I'm giving to you a wee bit at a time here. So it's really valuable information, and just because it's free doesn't mean it's not valuable. So feel free to take advantage of it and download it for yourself and see for yourself. Give it a go and see if it doesn't change your life. So thank you for watching. Sona Sona.